Every summer since the 60s, the 1860s in this case, the monarch has invited guests to royal garden parties.
These are a really important occasion for her. It is a moment for her to meet members of the public, just regular members of the public whose service or contribution to their community the Queen wants to recognise. And the privilege, really, of being invited to Buckingham Palace to take tea with the Queen and nibble on cucumber sandwiches is a really special occasion for most people. And I think if you ever had the privilege of being invited to a Buckingham Palace garden party, it's certainly something that you will always remember.
The guests gather on the lawn, whatever the weather, and when the band strikes up the national anthem, the Queen makes her entrance.
It's a really wonderful atmosphere. There's a great sense of expectation, of excitement before the members of the royal family appear, and as they walk down the steps from the palace to go and greet guests on the lawn. It's a really special moment, and it's not often that you get to meet the Queen. It's not often that you get to have, in some cases, a conversation with the Queen.
There's no casual mingling, though. The Queen has a carefully choreographed route through the garden to ensure she gets to speak to as many of her guests as possible. There are up to 8,000 at each event, all waiting in line for a chinwag. In the 1860s, Queen Victoria considered the garden parties to be exclusive events, open only to members of the upper classes. This changed in 1945, when the Queen's father, King George VI, invited servicemen and women after the Second World War. Nowadays, this is an invite that any one of us could get our hands on, so it's essential to know how to make a good first impression.
I always said to people, never offer a hand to a member of the royal family. They've got to offer their hand first. And then you've then got to make sure you do the right kind of handshake. Fully open, fingers and thumb open. Then you wrap your fingers round their hand, obviously, but not too tight because you don't want to come across as overpowering, or you're not trying to arm wrestle the royal, God forbid. And at the same time, you don't want it to be too limp, as if you can't be bothered. And then my favourite part is it's 2 to 3 pumps. So that's where you go 1, 2, 3 marks, and then your hand returns to the side. What you've got to remember is, out of the excitement and the nerves, don't keep shaking the hand. You're meeting a member of the royal family, you're not pumping up a bicycle tyre.
So don't overpump and don't overdress.
Just wear what the dress code says. It's not the time for high fashion. It's not the time to start a new trend. If you do not look the part, you won't feel the part, and that will affect your general behaviour and confidence.
Perhaps you wouldn't wear skyscraper heels because you'd just sink into the turf.
The solution? A wedged heel.
I think both Meghan and Kate have made wedges very popular amongst the younger royals. They are much more sensible on certain occasions because otherwise you do sink into the ground.
For the men, it's all about what's on your arm.
Something that always amuses me with adult male members of the royal family or royal household when they are in morning dress, not for weddings, but for garden parties sometimes, is that they've got an umbrella, very tightly furled umbrella. And that's sort of a class marker for royal household. It makes no sense, but if you want sense, I wouldn't necessarily deeply analyse royal protocol.
But surely carrying an umbrella at a British summer garden party isn't entirely in vain.